Let me bring in Brad Howe, Metro News Sports. Brad, good morning. What did you make of the coach's comment on maintaining the roster, NIL, the trust, poaching, etc.?
Yeah, it's becoming, good morning, Hoppy. It's become the most important part of the off season. I know there's still one game to go in the bowl game, but this has become the important part. This week, that portal opens on Monday. So this week you're going to start to hear some names that are going. You're going to hear names around the league, and you're certainly going to keep an eye and an ear out for what West Virginia guys are leaving. And we know a big part of that is the dollars. What is the trust able to give to Neal to be able to offer to these guys to keep them? And listen, I know that's not the intent of what NIL was, but that's what it's become. So you got to know your salary cap, and you got to know what you have to offer these guys as incentive to stay here at West Virginia.
Were you able to read between the lines on Neal Brown's candid but also careful response about the trust as to its status and whether more needs to be done? What did you interpret?
Yeah, well, I think it's two things. I think, number one, whenever you've spent space in the fundraising business, you always know, especially when dealing with coaches, and I don't blame them given the current landscape, you always want more, and there's probably never enough. And he said he's comfortable with where they're at, what they're able to compete, but he also led off by saying we need to do more and we need to keep progressing. And so that's just the case, whether you're talking about the trust or you're talking about, in this case, Mountaineer Athletic Club, whenever it's sales or fundraising, you always want more and you always need more money. So I think that's what's imperative for West Virginia, not only in the short term here, but moving forward. You've got to continue to find ways to raise dollars. And I think that's what he was getting at right away. Comfortable, feel like they can make some offers, but you got to have more too.
Brad, I also interpret him talking about, I heard him talking about the atmosphere that he's tried to create, the environment, and maybe that runs counter to it's all about the money, but you can only go so far on the money, but there has to be, for some of these players at least, a quality of life factor, a comfort level at being with a particular program, particular coach, coaching staff?
Yeah, there's no doubt that's part of it. And there's also no doubt that for some guys, it's just they want to go somewhere else for a myriad of reasons. And It isn't about the money. But the money's a huge part of this. So let's not mistake that, and let's not forget that as we're moving forward. The financial package is important. But, yeah, culture and relationship with coaches is super important, as is winning, right? I would think it's going to be an easier sell to keep guys around when you quieted down the talk about is Neal Brown going to be back or not. That goes away. Now guys have some continuity here that they can bank on. Let's take the offensive side of the ball. You know what that looked like. There's a chance to bring a bunch of guys back. You think the pitch to Jaheim White is a lot more stable now than it would have been a year ago? Sure it is, because you can see what success does and what it looks like. Then you add the dollars on top of that as an offer, as a package, and it's certainly much more attractive than maybe it's been in the past.
Brad Howe, Metro News Sports, is with us. Let me go to the other point of the interview. And when I asked him about if he expected to be, I said, do you expect to be the head coach of WVU next season? And he said, God willing. Then I followed up, and his response was, I'm in regular contact with Wren, as in Wren Baker. I've got a contract, and I think there's 3 years left on that contract. I don't think we necessarily have to talk every single day. I have a really good relationship with him, a really good relationship with, and he mentioned Dr. Gee. I feel confident in what we are building and the strides we made. We've got to continue to get better. Our goal is to play in the game that is staged the first Saturday in December in Dallas, championship game. That's our goal. We're making progress to get there. Then he added, I do expect to be here. My family and I have enjoyed our time in West Virginia, and we want to see this through. Your interpretation of that?
Well, I thought it was a very cordial, pleasant answer by Coach Brown to you. If you had asked me that question in the same situation, I would have asked you why you're asking me the question. Guy just won 8 games. He should be Coach of the Year. He'll certainly get votes if not, and he's got a contract. Why wouldn't he be Coach of the Year? I mean, why wouldn't he be coming back? I mean, it's his job. He's the coach. The announcement would have been if he's not coming back. Not that he is coming back. I mean, you came in to do your talk show today. You contemplated retirement a year ago. You don't come out every month and put a statement out that you're doing Talkline today. You just come in and do Talkline. So I don't know why the guy had to answer that question from you. I would have just said, of course I'm coming back. What are you talking about, Hoppy?
Oh, I tell you why. Because that was I agree that he should and will be the coach going forward. I agree with that. But going into the season, that was a primary question. and it was going to have a better season than he had to retain his job. So season concluded. I just wanted to get that on the record. That's all. And I think at some point, and I will bet you this, I will bet you lunch at some point, Ren Baker will make a statement to that effect. He won't.
Yeah, and here's the interesting thing. I don't think you're wrong on that. I think they will, but I also I'm being half serious.
That's fine. That's okay.
That's ridiculous that they have to do that. And I know college sports in particular has become a climate of I'm coming back, and you're going to see player announcements and graphics on social media that say I'm returning, even though it's the same thing. Guys had good years. They have eligibility remaining. And I know we're in a climate of I've got to announce that I'm coming back. But in this particular case, it's not even up for debate. And Ren would tell you it's not up for debate. They may put a statement out there, but the guy's the coach. He answered all those questions. Everything that was put in front in August, everything people were talking about in August, got to win games, got to have a better season, got to show improvement. Check, check, and check.
Well, he did kind of throw it back in my face when he said that. I forget. He said you do. He said back to me. I forget how it came up. He said you do a good job for the most part, which I thought it was. And I do plan to be back next year. I'll make my announcement now. So just in
good.
case.
I look forward to about every month. Why don't you put a statement out saying you're looking forward to doing the show coming Monday? I look forward to that.
Will you be back with us next year, Brad?
Well, listen, I just want to let you know I look forward to doing Sportsline tonight. I will be on the show tonight.
Brad Al, Metro News Sports. Thank you, Brad.